He is. This is how I roll, y'all. I'm always award-winning actor, director. He's got the beautiful voice as well, producer, and the founder of Your Health Network. Let me welcome Mr. Charles Mattox. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for having me.
So I got questions. You know, in the opening of Reverse, and Tanya, of course, is here. Tanya Pinkins. You talk about having diabetes, and your goal with Reverse is to follow 5 people on their journey to reversing what I'm imagining is type 2, because that's the one that could be reversed. They're type 2 diabetes, and you actually was a person that had it, correct?
Yeah, Karen, thanks again. It wasn't really about reversing diabetes. It was about reversing the mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional state of the person, but giving them the tools and the education and the information to be able to make the choices, right? So if someone is able to understand what diabetes is, if they're able to understand what they should be eating, what they shouldn't be eating, if they're able to get the inspiration and to have the support system, they'll make the changes on their own. So it wasn't just looking at it and saying, let's go reverse type 2 diabetes, but reverse the person. Because you've got to remember something. If you don't change that person from a mental, physical, spiritual, emotional state, they will go right back to the same challenges that they have. Because a lot of us are addicted to food or have an unhealthy relationship with food, and we don't even realize it, right? So you have to change that person internally, and then the changes will happen.
So what was your story, Charles? What led you to becoming a diabetic?
You know what? Man, and at this point I was this whole celebrity chef with cookbooks all about healthy eating and everything like that. And number one, stress is a contributing factor to diabetes. Sleep is a contributing factor to diabetes, not just what you eat. And then of course, I was staying up late. I was eating all kind of things, and I was stressed and not sleeping right. So a lot of those things. And then I was also going to the gym, but I wasn't doing any cardio. I was doing a lot of weights, so I had some extra weight on me from bulking up. So there were a few contributing factors that had me with type 2 diabetes. And what made the change was immediately, and I looked into that mirror. To be honest, I looked into the physical mirror. And I said, brother, you need to, number one, lose about 20 pounds. That was the first thing.
That's it?
And
Wait, so pause, Charles, pause before you get to that mirror.
Yeah.
Take us into the doctor's office when they told you have type 2 diabetes. Was there a diagnosis before? Because it's usually before you get the diabetes diagnosis, you're pre-diabetic. So that should have been a call to action, but it wasn't. So tell us, when you got the diagnosis, where were you? What were you thinking?
Yeah, that was a mess, because I had good health insurance and I was going to the doctor on a regular basis, and nobody ever saw this. This happened over a weekend. I was urinating a little bit too much, and I thought, you know what, let me just go to a little Saturday doctor. Once again, making sure that if you have a symptom or a sign of something, do not put it off. Go and take care of that. And he basically took a finger prick test and came back and said, you have a family history of diabetes. And I was in shock because now I'm diagnosed with a disease. And he said, well, I could put you on medication. I thought, this medication? How did I get from this to this? I said, no, I don't want any medication. And I literally went home and was in fear of death and went online and just, so that kind of started me on this whole journey of becoming a diabetes advocate, and not only helping myself, but wanting to help other people around the world who walk into a doctor's office, whether it's diabetes, hypertension, cholesterol issues, whatever it may be, and get this prescription and walk out with no plan, right? So I had no plan from this doctor. It was just take this medication and that was it. So that's how it kind of started the whole reversed docu series.
So, all right. So you get the diagnosis. There's no plan. Where's the first place that you said you went online? What'd you go to, WebMD? Like
I went
what was
online.
your go-to to find some answers for what to do with this?
Honestly, it was more daunting going online because there's so much misinformation and so much confusion about what to eat, what not to eat. I went in some forums trying to post some stuff. Man, he tore me up in there, and that's why I said, you know what, I'm done with that. I'm gonna just go and educate myself. So what happened was I really wanted to create a TV series for PBS. That was my idea. But then as I started to go into diabetes and understand the world of healthcare and also big pharma, food industries and things like that, that's when it kind of escalated into what we have now. And I created Reverse because I created the first ever RV testing unit, right, for diabetes, where I looked at the big red bus, what they were doing in Walmart. And I said, you know what? Why isn't there one for diabetes? There should be a RV in parking lots and testing people for diabetes. So while I was on that tour, I realized while I was doing TV every morning, I realized I wasn't reaching the people that I wanted to reach. There were millions that I wanted to reach. And I thought the best way to reach them was right in the comfort of their own homes. So I created this television series where we took 5 people, brought them to Jamaica, where I'm from, and brought in some of the best in healthcare, right? That way you didn't have to go through the whole system of seeing an endocrinologist or seeing a dietitian or seeing the primary care physician, that it was all in one lump sum, and you would be able to educate and inspire them right in their own homes. So that's how we got into the series Reverse. And, you know, we just finished a new series that we shot in Costa Rica that's airing right now. It's getting ready to go on Cox Communication, and it's a game changer. One of the guests on the show, Lisa, who was also on the first season, since the show has lost 70 pounds and came off the insulin pump after 13 years by her doctor's orders. So everyone on the show has done tremendous. If they didn't do well, it was because they didn't take it seriously and didn't implement changes that need to be.
Can I be a Costa Rican contestant?
You sure are.
Do you have diabetes, Tanya?
I don't know. I don't go to the doctor.
I don't know.
Give me your information. Put your information in the thing chat for me.
Yeah. All right. I'll introduce y'all via email. So and we should do something in Costa Rica.
For sure.
I got about 70 pounds to lose.
Yeah, for sure. We'd love to have you.
So Charles is here, Charles Mattox, and we will tweet out all of his information. You can follow him at CMATTOCKS1 on the Twitters, at CMattox1 on the Twitters. So how many you lost the 20 pounds? Are you no longer diabetic?
You know, I would say that we're always going to be diabetic, you know, because if I don't do what's right, those numbers will start to rise. So number one, it has to come with weight loss. For me, it had to come with weight loss. It had to come with dietary changes, everything that I eat, everything that I drink. I used to drink ginger ale because I thought it was more healthy because it had ginger in it, right? I mean, it's just little things that we have to change. You know, I stay away from the carbs, the starch, the sugars. You got to remember something. Diabetes is a killer. And, you know, it's a leading cause of blindness. It's a leading cause of amputation. It's a leading cause of heart disease. It's a leading cause of just everything that you could imagine. It's the gateway. And that's why we look at what's going on right now with COVID, and we look at obesity and diabetes, that it affects our whole body. And literally, diabetes attacks every organ in the body. And it takes more lives than AIDS and cancer combined. If the people that were dying from diabetes, dying from COVID had the numbers as we had in diabetes, the world would be shut down, right? So it really is a serious condition. And, you know, we're working on a new series right now that I wanted to mention called Reverse the Church, where we've teamed up with Dr. Bernice King, Martin Luther King's daughter, Grammy Award-winning Kelly Price, Pastor Jamal Bryant out of Atlanta, New Birth. And we're going to go into a church and reverse the health of a whole congregation. Wow. Because we know the disparities in the Black community, and also especially in the Black church, where the Black church can play a role in helping us, right? Not only spiritually should they be trying to heal us, but also physically, right? And they have the know-how to be able to inspire people to make those changes. And it could start right in the Black church.
That is powerful.